Howdy folks! The vast universe of No Man's Sky is full of fantastical sci-fi stories and adventures to experience. Some of them are procedurally generated, such as the ones you find at the Nexus or aboard space stations. Some of them come in the form of more intricate but time-limited expeditions, while others are more ambient, relying on the player to seek them out for themselves. Today, I'd like to highlight my favorite side quests in the game right now. That means no expeditions and no discontinued weekend missions or other activities like that. Minor spoilers to follow, but don't worry, I won't be spoiling the best parts of any of these quests. I'm Kanaju, and these are the 5 best side quests in No Man's Sky. Number 5, Dreams of the Deep. Now, I know I've taken shots at Dreams of the Deep for its repetitive objectives, but there are still some redeeming qualities that land it at the bottom of this list. Added in 2018's The Abyss update, it's the only side quest that takes place almost exclusively underwater. The oceans of No Man's Sky are often overlooked, as most gameplay takes place either on land or in space. Dreams of the Deep gives you a Nautilon submarine and invites you to discover the fate of a crashed freighter's crew who ventured beneath the waves before you. While the actual mechanics of the quest objectives are quite dull, admittedly, the experience of exploring the depths in your submarine, discovering new points of interest and creatures, I think it leads to some of the best exploration in the game. In addition to the lore, you'll unlock the submarine exocraft and several underwater building blueprints for free, which will save you a lot of salvage data at the space anomaly. The cherry on top, though, is an exclusive helmet, the Lost Bathysphere, only unlockable through this quest. Number 4, Under a Rebel Star. This is the newest side quest on this list, added in 2022's Outlaws update. Triggering it requires pulsing around in your starship as it begins with a random space encounter. Once you get it started, however, it's actually a pretty short quest. It only lasts about an hour or two depending on your playstyle. It introduces you to the new Outlaw content added in that update, and it features combat, lore, and, most importantly, exclusive rewards. So, one of 2 exclusive player titles will be unlocked depending on the choices you make. And if you've ever wondered how to get this awesome hood that I'm always wearing, the Shroud of Freedom, well, this is how. Number 3, Starbirth. This mission was a main feature of the February 2020 update, Living Ship, as it was the mission by which you obtained said living ship. In order to begin the mission, you'll need to own a Void Egg. You can purchase one for 3,200 Quicksilver from the Space Anomaly. It's the most expensive item in the Quicksilver shop, but after Waypoint's Quicksilver buff, you can easily earn that amount in less than a week. Once you have the Void Egg in your inventory, pulsing around in your starship will eventually lead to someone reaching out to you, and thus begins your quest to nurture that Void Egg to maturity. I personally consider Starbirth to be a sort of precursor to the expeditions we have today. It features, novel mechanics, bespoke tech, and exclusive materials, and then wraps it all up in new lore, and it gives you an exclusive reward on top of that, your very own living ship. It's like an expedition that anyone can partake in at any time. Now, it should be noted that this quest does rely on real-time timers, which can be pretty annoying for some players. If you log in every day, it'll take about a week to complete the quest. The result is a growth process that feels very satisfying, if a bit slow. I know I got impatient at a couple points. Now, I should note that the quest has changed since the Expeditions update in 2021. So originally, for certain objectives, you actually wouldn't be given an objective marker. You would be given a set of planetary coordinates, the latitude and longitude, and then you would be forced to figure out where it was on the planet. So you'd be paying careful attention to your ship's instruments and your analysis visor's readout, and just pretty much manually make your way to the set coordinates. It was pretty cool. It's a unique puzzle mechanic that I don't think they've used since. However, nowadays it uses the same target sweep mode of the analysis visor that pretty much every expedition does. So it's less tedious for sure, but it's also a little bit less unique to play. So, after a week of equal parts novel experiences and waiting around, I have to say that ultimately, I really enjoyed the Starbirth quest, and I would recommend it even if you're not all that interested in a living ship. although living ships are pretty cool, but I'll do a separate video on that later. Number 2. A Trace of Metal. After you've taken stewardship of your own planetary settlement, you may eventually trigger a quest that was added in 2022's Sentinel update. A Trace of Metal is the kind of quest that I wish was included with every update. It ties together a lot of elements of the existing game, some of which have been underutilized, and it uses them to introduce the update's new content. And it does this really well, so this quest expands the lore of the Sentinels, the Traveler, and more, while giving both your settlement and the space anomaly more to do. It's kind of a perfect quest, to be honest. Now, admittedly it's more of a combat-focused quest than most, but its rewards are pretty grand. You will not only obtain the plans to upgrade your Minotaur exocraft into a reprogrammed Sentinel hardframe, but you'll also gain a Sentinel drone companion, both exclusive to the quest, and both compatible with regular companions, allowing you to build an army of AI like this one. On top of all that, it's also not a grindy quest like Starbirth or a repetitive quest like Dreams of the Deep. It's full of gameplay variety and feels like a genuine adventure with satisfying payoffs. Number 1. Expanding the base. My number 1 pick actually consists of about 5 secondary missions. More if you include the repeatable missions that become available after completion, but those aren't relevant to this video. After creating your first base, you'll be given a prompt to hire an overseer for your base. This will begin your primary expanding the base mission. As you complete tasks, you'll be rewarded with blueprints, and also tasked with finding more oddballs to join your base crew. Each new crew member carries with them their own backstory and secondary mission to complete, which will grant its own rewards. So you have the Overseer, who is the catalyst for the main base quest, but eventually leads to the Overseer's Tour secondary mission. It's a repeatable daily quest. Then you have the Scientist and the Scientific Research quest, the Armorer with the Weapons Research quest, the Farmer with the Agricultural Research quest, and finally the Technician with the Exocraft Research quest. While the rewards for completing these missions are fantastic enough to warrant completion, not to mention they're a great introduction to many of the game's mechanics, the reason I place this group of missions at the top are for the characters themselves. In particular, the Korvax Scientist and Exocraft Technician offer 2 of the most compelling stories in the game. The Scientist is a Korvax who's struggling with disconnection from the Convergence, which is the hive mind that most Korvax belong to. The Exocraft Technician is the Vy'keen in hiding, who carries their own revelations. You combine these 2 stories and characters with the rest of the base missions and rewards, and it feels like a pretty comfortable top pick. This of course does not include the base computer archives mission, which I consider to be one of the lamest in the game, even with the recent improvement in Waypoint. But that wraps up my list of the 5 best side quests in No Man's Sky. While the game is full of content in every direction, admittedly, there aren't too many proper secondary missions to choose from. Still, even considering all of the optional side content and unmarked side quests in the game, I believe these to be the best 5 for gameplay variety, story content, and rewards. But that's one man's opinion. Let me know which side quests are your favorite in the comments below. Have you completed all of these ages ago, or have you put them off in pursuit of other endeavors? Maybe I missed one that you think should have been on the list. Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this list or simply want to support my efforts, leaving a like is the easiest way to do that. However, if you really enjoyed the video, subscribing takes only a click more. I make all kinds of deep dive videos about No Man's Sky, at least once a week, and when I find time, other games as well. We recently passed 10,000 subscribers, which still feels unreal to me, and we'll be celebrating soon somehow, so if you'd like to join in the possible festivities, now's your chance. Thanks for watching. To everyone who is already subscribed, thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!